Sports, 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 sports.
Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to Sportsball, part of the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. We talk about sports related topics, but we focus on you, the fan, and what you like, whether it's a sport, team, athlete, sports related news, or sports related events. And this week, we've got two big events in sports coming up. The Super Bowl is coming up this Sunday. So I've got six predictions for that after thinking about it for a little while and also kind of just crunching some numbers. And I also have six predictions for the NBA trade deadline, which is happening this Thursday as well. So, in order of operations, let's go with the NBA trade deadline, which is happening on Thursday, February 5th. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. And there's been a lot of speculation going around about, a lot of people who may potentially be on the move. And I've got six predictions of things that I think are probably going to happen on the NBA trade deadline. And it's going to start with number one, there's not going to be a whole lot of movement. And I think there's a number of players who there's been rampant speculation on whether or not they're going to move. And I predict that John Morant, Zion Williamson, LaMelo Ball, and Giannis Antetokounmpo will not be moved on the trade deadline. They will all be moved in the offseason somehow. Maybe not Zion, but I think everybody else, they're probably not long for their teams. I think the Bucks need like a pretty incredible offer in order for them to move Giannis mid-season. And I don't think anybody has anything that's like incredibly enticing right now. And kind of with that being said, I'm don't think, players like Jimmy Butler is probably not going to be on the move either since he's injured, but he's got money on his, whatever. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of substantial moves, mainly because of the new NBA salary rules. With that being said, also, but there will be some people who are on the move, and I think some of the bigger prominent names that will be on the move. I think Michael Porter Jr. is not long for Brooklyn. I think Laurie Markkinen will finally get out of Utah. I think Drew Holiday will be on the move because every team could use Drew Holiday. And I think Carl Anthony Towns is going to be on the move in New York because I don't think he's just jiving well with Mike Brown. I think the Knicks are kind of starting to see some cracks forming, and maybe we shouldn't have fired Tibbs, which that was a stupid move to begin with, and now they're stuck with Mike Brown, and yeah, it's not looking great so far. So yeah, I think those are some prominent players that I think will be on the move, and I think one of the teams that will go all in order to try to secure their place in like at least home court advantage in the first couple rounds of the playoffs is going to be the Detroit Pistons. I think that Orlando made their big move with Desmond Bain, and that's not working out at all. I think that Boston is going to be lurking out there, and I think everyone's going in the East is going to be reacting to what's going on in Boston because if Tatum comes back and the Celtics are still as good as they are, I could see Boston coming out of the East and then at least being competitive with somebody from the West. So I'm curious to see if Detroit has the stones to actually go all in and to go for it this year. There's quite a few teams that I think will do nothing of substance. And I've got three teams in particular that I think are not going to do anything of substance. Two, because I think their front offices are incompetent. And the other is because I don't think they have anything of value to trade. So I think the Chicago Bulls and the Sacramento Kings will do nothing, and it will infuriate their fan bases to no end because both of these teams are just utterly directionless right now. And I think just both teams need to clean house and just start over. And like for the Bulls in particular, keep Billy Donovan and then clean out everybody else. Just get rid of everybody because build around Josh Giddey, draft a bunch of people, and just call it a day. And then for the Kings, they've just taken on the Bulls' scraps over the last couple of years with DeMar DeRozan and with Zach LaVine. So I'm not sure what they're doing and what their direction is. And then the Lakers, I just don't think that there's anything of note for the Lakers to offer right now. Sure, Dalton Connect is a promising player. Rui Hachimura is still out there. They've got wings, and it doesn't look like they're going to break up the tandem of Doncic, James, and Reeves. I don't know. And then they don't have a center because DeAndre Ayton ain't it. So I just don't think that there's anything out there for them. And then I I think this is the beginning of the end for the Warriors. And I think the Warriors, if they were smart, they would find a way to trade Draymond Green. Because right now, Draymond Green and Jonathan Kaminga are just like are two people who just the Warriors need to trade both of them in order to salvage anything from this season. And I think if anything, they need to just draft the replacement Steph Curry, which you're never going to be able to draft a Steph Curry. But yeah, it's just that's not great. And then I think there's a couple teams that I'm kind of looking at and thinking, I wonder if you're going to do something in the trade season. And I think if anything, there's two teams in particular, one from each conference that I'm like, I think if we're going to do something, you could do something to win now, and I think this could be interesting. And that's Philadelphia and Houston. Sure, Toronto's up there as well, and then same thing with Denver. I don't think Denver is going to do anything. I think they're going to be sellers. But if anything, Houston and Philadelphia, they're both probably looking at the situation and they're going to try to do something on the fringes to make the like stockpile a little bit better, like get a deeper bench or, get more shot creators, playmaking. But yeah, I don't see a situation where Houston and Philadelphia, especially with Daryl Morey in Philadelphia, just staying put. So those are two surprise teams that I kind of see could potentially be up there. So moving on to our six Super Bowl predictions. The first one is, and I said this last week, I think this is going to be defensive Super Bowl, and that means the score is going to be low. It's going to be very, very low. It's going to remind me a little bit of the Jared Goff led Los Angeles Rams against the Patriots, and that was a slog to watch. But if you like defense, you're probably going to like it. But if you just are a casual football fan, you're probably going to hate it. I think the commercials are going to continue to suck as well. We're not going to get anything of substance from like an Avengers Doomsday trailer or anything like that. I don't know. I just think that the advent of the internet has just ruined everything when it comes to commercials. I think Bad Bunny is going to crush it at this year's Super Bowl halftime show, and I think it's going to be the most watched Super Bowl halftime show ever, ever. Even if he tones it down and he doesn't say anything that political or anything like that, I still think it's going to be that because of all the backlash. But I think he's going to say something political, and I think it's going to be awesome. I think this is the game where Drake May is going to show that he is a second year player and he's going to struggle mightily. He has not looked great throughout the course of the playoffs, but he did pretty well against Houston's defense. This isn't to say that, the other games that they played against were, easy per se, but if you look at the path to get to the Super Bowl versus the Seahawks, I think the Patriots had a much easier path. And I think this is going to be the defense that's going to expose Drake May. Not to say that he's a bad player, because he's definitely not. I think this is going to be the game where he gets exposed as, yeah, you're still young. This isn't to say that Sam Darnold's going to have a good game either. Sam Darnold's injured, and Sam Darnold has a tendency to not perform in the biggest of spotlights. So we'll see how that goes. I think the Super Bowl MVP this year will be a wide receiver. It will be Jackson Smith from the Seattle Seahawks. I think he's probably going to be the best player on offense on either team. So I think that he's got the most opportunity for him to win Super Bowl MVP. which then goes into my prediction. Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl. I think there's no doubt in my mind that Seattle's not going to win the Super Bowl, but that's just me. But anyways, what are your NBA trade deadline predictions? What are your Super Bowl predictions? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to do it for this episode of Sportsball. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew, wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website at spdmcrew.com. Shout out to HiFlyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logos. Greatly appreciate their support. Check out the other shows in our network. We've got a lot of great content and really proud of the work that everyone's doing. So please check out the other shows in the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. Check out, and finally, if you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM Crew, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.